Hello, Mr. Ram Madhav. Welcome to Frankly Speaking. And today, I think, is the most important day for you to speak absolutely frankly. Mr. Ram Madhav, for the last 1 month, there has been a lot of to and fro on how India has been virtually in a confrontation with China. There have been statements made. There have been statements made by the External Affairs Ministry, by the Prime Minister yesterday, and another clarification that has come out from the Government of India today. Mr. Ram Madhav, at the end of all of this, I think we are a country of 1.3 billion people who are confused on whether there was Chinese incursion into the Indian territory or not. First, let's settle the point. Was there a Chinese intrusion on our side of the line of actual control, or was it the Indian army which had intruded into the Chinese side?
This confusion that you are talking about is a deliberate, mischievous and malicious intent that has led to this confusion in the minds of the people. Actually, there is no confusion. The LAC, line of actual control, is not an accepted border between our two countries. We challenge each other, not today. This is actually something that we have all got from the great Jawaharlal Nehru's time. We all have been confronting each other from time to time along a border which we claim to be our side and which they sometimes claim to be their side. What the situation right now is that at some places we have engaged with them in the last 1 month, since you have mentioned about what happened since May 5th. We have engaged with them. We have had certain physical confrontation with them. That confrontation has even escalated to a very serious scale a few days ago, in which both sides have sustained serious casualties. We have disclosed, we have announced our casualties because we respect the martyrdom of each and every soldier of our country. The Chinese side, for some reason, hides it, and we are confronting with them on the issue of what we perceive as our territory. Where is the question of any confusion in this? We are stalling them in Galwan Valley. We are stalling them at the Pangangso Lake. We are fighting. Here is our army which is fighting and guarding this LAC. And some vested interests in the country, some political interests in the country are promoting mischievous and malicious content and trying to confuse people.
So what you're saying, Mr. Ram Madhav, is that there are some areas where we consider it to be our boundary, where they consider it to be their boundary. Now let me ask, from what you are saying today, that there is engagement and there is confrontation and there is a physical fight that's going on, which leads us to believe that at some point what we consider as ours, the Chinese had intruded. Is that what I understand in simple English from what you said?
Oh, see, that is precisely why this confrontation is going on. There is an attempt to intrude into our territory. Earlier, what used to happen was they would come in, sit there, enjoy for 20 days, 25 days, and whenever they feel like going back, they used to go back. That is no longer the case. When we believe that it is our territory, we are confronting them, we are engaging with them, we are standing eyeball to eyeball with them. In many instances, you have seen in the last 1 month, Navika, there were fisticuffs, there were exchange of batons. Okay, we don't use weapons because of certain conventions we entered into in 2005 and 2012, but we are physically preventing the Chinese from continuing to encroach our territory. You know, this is actually the reality that whole country knows.
But Mr. Ram Madhav, there was a statement that was put out by the External Affairs Minister, Mr. S. Jaishankar, 2 days ago. In fact, he said in that statement that the Chinese had come into our part of the LAC and they had erected some structure, and that is what this entire confrontation was all about. Now let me ask you, when the Prime Minister addressed leaders of opposition at the all-party meeting yesterday, he said categorically that there is no intrusion and no Indian post has been taken. If there is no intrusion, as the Prime Minister has said, then is the External Affairs Minister's statement wrong? Because he said there was intrusion in the Galwan Valley and structures had been pushed up. I want to understand from you, and the country wants to understand.
Okay.
Not only from the government, from the BJP and people like yourself who are extremely well versed in international and diplomatic relations. What is the exact truth? We don't want an approximate truth. We want an exact truth.
I appreciate, Navika. Let me just explain. You see, this whole discussion yesterday, which was mischievously misinterpreted by some people, was centered around what was happening in the Galwan Valley. Now, Galwan Valley is one area where both sides have been claiming it to be their territory. We have always done our patrolling there. We consider it as part of our territory. Chinese, you see, armies don't stand on the borders exactly. They generally stay a few kilometers away from the borders. The Chinese side tried to come closer to the LAC along the Galwan River. They pitched tents there. That is where we went and told them that you should vacate, you should go back. This is a territory which we patrol. You remember a few days ago there was on 6th June there was a dialogue between two armies, and it was agreed that we would withdraw, we would go back. Chinese side had agreed to go back to their previous locations. What happened was, when our people went to see whether they had really cleared the area or not, they found certain tents being pitched on the banks of that river. That is where our people again wanted to confront and ask them to leave. That is when this attack happened. So finally, this attack was very brutal, very barbarous. It violates all the bilateral agreements. It even violates, I would say, Geneva Agreement, which China side never, respects. Anyway, so finally, today what Prime Minister said is true. They have vacated the area as far as Galwan Valley is concerned, where we contested them, we fought with them, we sacrificed our soldiers. That area has been completely clear of the Chinese soldiers. That's what Prime Minister said. There are certain other places where we continue to challenge them. Our government's commitment is very clear. Every inch of territory that we consider ours, right now in our patrolling area, will be safeguarded.
So,
our army
Mr. Ram Madhav, let me interrupt you there. Let me interrupt you there, because you are saying when the Prime Minister made this statement yesterday, this area had been vacated. Now, let me ask you. S. J. Shankar, the External Affairs Minister, in his statement said the Chinese side sought to erect a structure in Galwan Valley on our side of the LAC, and the press release of June 17 said that while this became a source of dispute, the Chinese side took premeditated and planned action that was directly responsible for the resulting violence and casualties. Are you saying, Mr. Ram Madhav, that between the 17th of June that this statement was made by the External Affairs Minister and the 19th of June when the Prime Minister made his statement saying there is no intrusion, the matter was resolved and we managed to push out the Chinese from what we consider our part of the Galwan Valley?
As far as I know, the External Affairs Minister has said that they tried to erect certain installations across LAC. This is the phrase he used, across LAC, which is a fact. We told them these areas are patrolled by us. If you think that you are also patrolling, but we claim it to be our territory, you should go back. So what Dr. Jaishankar has said and what Prime Minister has said yesterday, there is absolutely no contradiction. These areas in Galwan Valley, we consider them as our territory. We patrol them on a regular basis. That is where the incursions happened, and we asked them to vacate. And
that is why, Mr. Ram Madhav, I said we want the exact truth. We do not want the approximate truth. Let me refresh your memory, and I am holding the statement of the External Affairs Minister in my hand. It is not, as you say, across the LAC. It says on our side of the LAC, there were the Chinese side sought to erect a structure on our side of the LAC. That is the question I'm asking you. Between 17th of June and 19th of June,
very much.
Was this then cleared up?
No, that is precisely what I am saying. These tents were brought near the Galwan River. That area is where we regularly patrol. That is why we told them you should go away from here. That is where the confrontation took place. We got them cleared. Where is the confusion? I am not understanding. We are saying they have pitched tents in territory which we regularly patrol. We consider as our territory, the Galwan Valley. We got them vacated.
So you're saying Galwan Valley, there is no intrusion now, but there was an intrusion in the past. They came and erected some tents, and now they've been pushed back. Is that what you're saying? I'm asking this again and again because this is the entire confusion that has been raised by many opposition leaders, starting from Rahul Gandhi, Manish Tiwari, Jairam Ramesh, every other political party. This is the basic point of confrontation now between the government and the opposition.
I tell you, let all these worthies recall their own period when they were in power. These incursions into Galwan Valley used to happen on a regular basis. 2013 was even a worse case of they entering into almost 90 kilometers inside our territory, pitching tents for 21 days. No challenge was made. Some secret negotiations happened. But in this case, since we challenged them in the Galwan Valley area, which we consider as our territory, finally a bloody skirmish also took place. We had to sacrifice the lives of our soldiers, and for which the entire country mourns, and also country is proud that they have sacrificed their lives protecting our borders, our territory. And today we have made them vacate through battle, through struggle, not through any secret understanding, not through any secret deals. And that was the history under UPA earlier. They used to enter into secret deals.
Mr.
And
Ram
next year
Madhav,
they would come back.
Mr. Ram Madhav,
it continuously happened. Let them recall their history.
What happened in the past and how 48,000 square kilometers were given away is a matter of record, a matter of history which this country knows. People are asking the question about the present. About the present, what they want to know is Galwan Valley clear? Is the lake area of Pangang So absolutely clear? Are there no intrusions there? Because the statement made by the Prime Minister clearly stated no intrusion, no post taken. The External Affairs Minister said there were structures on our side of the LAC, which is where this confusion has arisen.
Remember, as far as Galwan Valley is concerned, I think I have clarified to you, the claim areas of ours in which they intruded, and our forces have fought back and pushed them back. Today, that going by what Honorable Prime Minister has said yesterday, that area has been cleared. Pangang So Lake, yes, we are today standing eyeball to eyeball. There also, we have our claim area and they have their claim area. Today, we are fighting, we are engaged with them. I am not using the word fighting, we are engaged with them. And our intentions are clear. In fact, Prime Minister has said that in his comments, that we will secure every inch of our territory. There is no question about it.
But then the Prime Minister also said that there is no intrusion, which means Pangang So. What is the disengagement? What is the engagement all about if there is no intrusion? Why are we standing eyeball to eyeball? Either there is intrusion and therefore we are engaged with them in trying to vacate that territory, or there has been no intrusion. What's the truth?
No, I think you have heard what I said earlier. Prime Minister was responding to the discussion about Galwan Valley. Galwan Valley, where we both have claims. There was an attempt to intrude. We prevented them. We pushed them back. Now, as far as Pangong Tso Lake is concerned, today we are standing in front of each other. We are challenging them. We are asking them to go back. These intrusions have used to see, one thing that we all forget, Navika, is that these areas where both sides patrol means they come, go around the place for few hours and go back. These patrols happen in these areas by both sides because we also claim those areas to be ours. But when they come in large numbers, try to settle down there, build tents there, that is when we challenge them. We ask them to vacate. Now border negotiations are going on to settle the actual demarcation.
So you are saying
that is not yet complete. It started almost 20 years have happened. 20 rounds of talks have happened. Now we are challenging them. We are fighting with them. We are sacrificing them.
Are you saying
what
the
more
Prime Minister's
clarity
statement
do you
was
want?
restricted only to the Galwan Valley, not to the Pangong Tso?
Absolutely, because the discussion yesterday was about that. The opposition parties were talking about the sacrifices of our soldiers. He was referring to that. In all other areas also, we are not allowing them to occupy our territory. We are challenging them whenever it happens. Today, as far as I know, only Pangong Tso Lake, there we are actually challenging each other. We won't let anybody occupy our territory. We are not, since you have asked me, you say that is all history, but the leaders you are talking about, at least they should remember, right from POK to Aksai Chin to Teen Bigha, the Bhudan Karyakram was done by these governments. They were the ones who gave away our territories, reverse Bhudan. And they are today, we are committed to securing every inch of our territory. Our soldiers are fighting. And we demean our soldiers, we demean our officers. This is very unfortunate.
Mr. Ram Madhav, the question today which people are asking and your critics are asking, your opposition is asking, is the statement made by Mr. Jairam Ramesh. He says the clarification issued on behalf of the Prime Minister says that China's structures were across the LAC. The MEA statement said that the China structure were on our side of the LOC. Now, will the Prime Minister give a clarification of the clarification? This is the question because people are now saying, A, there was no transparency in the earlier part of the last 50 days and now there is a little bit of a flip-flop, which is why controversy is emerging out of all of this. Do you think the communications somewhere or the other are not as clear as they should be at a time like this?
Navika, now this is absolutely a manufactured controversy. There is no controversy in it. There is an area which is patrolled by both sides. They used to have their tents at a backward area, at an area several kilometers away. They suddenly tried to enter inside the area which is jointly claimed, not jointly claimed, there is a claim overlap. In the past, we used to turn a blind eye when they did that. This time, we are not doing that. We are challenging them. We are asking them to go back to their places. Where is the controversy in this? Where is the lack of transparency in this?
Mr. Ram Madhav, the statement which said that there is no intrusion into India is also something that has been picked up by China. The China Foreign Office has also said that there is no intrusion from their side. In fact, it was the Indian side that intruded into the Chinese side. Is that a correct claim that has been made by China?
No, that is precisely the result of this mischievous, malicious campaign launched since today morning by certain sections of so-called intellectuals and others with scant regard to what will be the repercussions. Without understanding in what context or what actually Prime Minister meant when he said that. What was the context? And you make such distortions to a statement, misinterpret that in a mischievous way and then say that China is commenting. It's very unfortunate. Remember.
So, Mr.
Nobody
Madhav,
needs
do you
to
think,
question us
do you
about
think the
these
government
things.
needs to take a position
we
with
will
China
fight to the last
and
man
make
to
this
guard our
once
border.
again absolutely amply clear and correct the position?
Yeah, of course, of course. Today, very clearly, the government has issued a clarification. It was very clear.
Mr. Madhav, there has been a confusion on another score. First, of course, we were given information that 3 of our soldiers had been martyred, and then after many hours we got a second update on that, and 20 of our soldiers had been martyred, and then there was all this speculation over 10 of our soldiers who probably, in the scuffle that happened on the night of June 15th and 16th, fell on the Chinese side with the landslide that happened. Were they in the Chinese army's captivity? Because the statement that was afterwards made by the army as well as the Ministry of External Affairs was made a good 24 to 30 hours later, and many people are saying in this interim 10 of our soldiers had been held by China before being released and coming on back to our side. The government hasn't really clarified on that. Do you think there is necessity to even clarify on that statement?
No. When they were released, that release was immediately announced to the nation. Where is any hiding in that?
There was no statement that said that they have been released. There was only a statement which said that there is no longer anybody missing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
At no stage did the government or the army say that 10 were missing and then updated that information.
No, I think there was a statement from the army side.
Mr. Madhav, some of us have been burning the midnight lamp, studying and awaiting every statement that has been made by the army or the Ministry of External Affairs or the government or the Prime Minister's office. We've been absolutely abreast, and there was no statement, no clarification at any stage that there were some soldiers who were missing. These were speculations in the media, and then came a clarification after a gap of about 30 hours that no soldiers are missing, the head count is complete. But that being said,
yes.
I want to ask you, Mr. Madhav, right from the beginning of this so-called confrontation with China, I want to ask you, there has been very little information that has come out. Is that because the government did not want to share strategic information, or is it because the truth would have been unpalatable? Because that is the impression and perception that is going out through the controversies
Navika,
that have arisen to the public.
Remember, if you tell me that no information was coming out, days on, you are all showing only the Indo-Tibetan border, LAC border news all through 24 hours of the day. You were burning midnight oil for your headlines. Let me be clear. You wanted strategic information.
That's in the last 5 days.
Does any government share strategy
That's been in the
publicly?
last 5 days since June 15th
in the public.
And this entire
Please listen to me. Please listen to me. You want strategic information. You want strategic information from the government. Does any government share strategic information to Times Now and other media? Strategic information is classified information. Whatever information is to be released to the country has always been made available to the country. The defense minister came on record giving information. The foreign minister gave information. You pick holes on information provided on one hand, and the other hand you say you are not sharing information. All through last 20 minutes you are asking about this statement, that statement, this tweet, that army statement. Was that not all information provided to you all? What do you mean by transparency? We are very transparent to the extent that whatever information needed to be shared with the country, we have always shared. We have full faith in 130 crore Indians. Nothing to hide in this. And they know that as long as Modi's government is there, not a single inch of our land, our territory will be compromised.
Mr. Ram Madhav, anybody who asks questions at this moment on China, can he be dubbed as somebody who is anti-national and not patriotic?
Who has dubbed it? Why are you putting words? Who has dubbed it? Who said what? Who said that? We have not said that to even real anti-nationals. Why do we take objection to somebody criticizing us?
Because you are almost accusing me that you want to know strategic information, virtually
the opposition
questioning.
parties. Navika, it's a common sense.
Okay.
No country shares strategic information. No government shares strategic information, not just India. Strategic information means it's a very classified information. Normal information that people should know, opposition parties should know, that is always shared. Where is the question of we calling anybody anti-national? We respect nationalism of those people who have done Bhudani Yajna of our territories, who are responsible for all these problems on Indo-China border today. Today, even if they are preaching us, we are listening, we are accepting their criticism.
Many people are now questioning the fact that India, the Prime Minister of India and the Chinese Xi Jinping, the heads of states level meetings have happened 18 times in the last 6 years. Did we still end up misreading China, Mr. Ram Madhav?
No, not at all. Had we misread China, we would have allowed them to sit there like what Manmohan Singh had done in 2013. You know, Dr. Manmohan Singh had allowed them to sit in Depsang Plains for 21 days unchallenged. Whereas we, as soon as we got to know, we challenged them, we fought back, we inflicted casualties on them. In the process, we also suffered. We are fighting back. We understand our neighbor, but India has a DNA, whether it is Xi Jinping or any other leader. We treat our neighbors and our international friends with a kind of decorum and dignity. That is India's DNA. Do you want India to give up its basic character? No, that won't happen. But we know how to deal with our neighbors. We know how to deal with China, and we are precisely doing that. You know, earlier, before 2014, we would never physically engage with these forces, these elements. They used to nibble away our territory. They have come inside and taken a lot of territory. I'm not talking about 62. From 62 to 2014, a lot of territory has been nibbled away by the Chinese forces. We just kept talking to them. We had 6 agreements, 88, 93, 96, 2005, 2012, 2013. All are UPA time agreements, Congress time agreements. What have we got out of it? Nobody is asking questions, that's why they are going on criticizing us. We know how to secure that. We are strong on the borders.
Mr. Ram Madhav, you know, whenever we discuss China, whenever we discuss the present conflagration, we are told about Jawaharlal Nehru and Aksai Chin. Okay, that was 1962. Then you're talking about Dr. Manmohan Singh. Okay, that was, you know, from 2008 to 2013, we surrendered some more land, and you know, everybody in this country knows about that. My question is, we are brought face to face with certain agreements, and the question that has been raised not by people like myself, but people who are professional in understanding on how armies behave, and General H.S. Panang has written in an article, and he says that we failed as a professional army when we didn't use arms when our soldiers were attacked by the Chinese side. I want to ask you, agreements were shown to us from 1993, 1996, 2005, 2008, 2013.
That's what I said.
What about 2014 to 2020, sir? Why weren't these agreements scrapped?
Come on, you are taking too much time. You are talking more time, and then tomorrow you will edit my comments now. You have a brief question, I will answer. Now, I got your point.
I will not edit any part of this interview, Mr. Ram Madhav.
I can give you 10. Come on. Okay, you should not. Yeah, a single word of mine should not be edited. Okay, let me tell you, since you have mentioned about General Panag, we have great respect for all the such senior former army officers and all. They had done great sacrifices for the country. They had served the country in a glorious way. But if you cite General Panag's article, I cite you dozen articles by other officers, army officers. Why you catch hold of one General Panak's article is because that gives you headline. Many generals are writing, explaining the situation there. They are saying, no, nothing wrong has happened. Our army has dealt the situation very well. You are not taking any of those arguments. That is why I am saying we have to stop this headline hunting. There can be views. We respect those views. You talked about eminent intellectuals. We respect their views. But we assure them and the country that no, now the dealing with China will be different. We are showing it. We are fighting back on the borders. Our army, our soldiers are sacrificing. Yet questions are raised over the army.
What are they fighting, Mr. Ram Madhav? Because there is no intrusion.
There is an attempt to intrude. That is why they are fighting back. Earlier we never used to fight back. We are fighting. We stood eyeball to eyeball at Doklam. We are standing eyeball to eyeball at Pangangso now. We pushed back in Galwan Valley. That is what we are doing. We are securing our borders.
So, Mr. Ram Madhav, what would you call the fact that Mr. Rahul Gandhi has got up every morning in the last 5 days to question the government and question the Prime Minister on the entire China handling? What would you respond to Mr. Rahul Gandhi if the question were asked to you? And I can just put out all the tweets. I'm sure you've read all his tweets. He said that we were sleeping, we didn't have intelligence, we sent our army, completely without arms. He's raised every single question, and he's also talked about the fact that if there is no intrusion, then we've surrendered China to, we've surrendered our land in Ladakh to China.
You see, majority in the country enjoy his tweets. I also do. When he said, quoting Einstein, that arrogance is more dangerous than ignorance, I understood that he is blaming our government or our leaders as arrogant, but also probably he is trying to say that Modi ji is more dangerous than me, because that is what we all understand from his tweets. Galwan Valley is an area where we do not have agreed demarcation. We patrol a big area, valley area, both of us patrol. When we come across each other, we challenge each other this time, and we are fighting there precisely that no structure should come up. Navika, since you asked, let me tell you one more thing. In Demchok area, in 2015, we went ahead and demolished a listening post erected by China. We never used to do those things before. We went and demolished a post erected by them, because that area again is patrolled by both of us. So we are not allowing them in areas that are disputed. We are patrolling those areas, claiming our territory. We are going there, not allowing them to settle down, not allowing them to put up any structures. That's what we are doing. And all sorts of funny tweets are being made. I wish him well. Let him read more Ghalib. Let him read more Einstein. Let him allow Prime Minister Modi to handle the situation. We assure him and the countrymen that we won't do a Nehru again. We won't do a Narasimha Rao again. Mr. Narasimha Rao went in 1993. You know what he did? There was an excellent opportunity to insist on having existing line of actual control as the phrase. The Indian side told Mr. Narasimha Rao that insist upon having this word existing. At least there will be some kind of an understanding about concurrent line. Mr. Narasimha Rao could not get it done. Chinese flatly said no. So you have missed opportunities. You have done Bhudani Yagya. You forget all that. And today when we are fighting for every inch of our territory, you write love letters to us? You tweet, keep tweeting away?
Let me ask you that there is this whole attempt to boycott China as a punishment. Our imports from China are far larger than our exports to China. Our imports are an essential part of the supply chain of many products in this country, many supply chains in this country. Are we in a position to economically punish China in any way, however much we may like to say boycott China and celebrities should not promote Chinese products? But are we in a situation to hit where it will hurt China?
First of all, Government of India has a policy which has been articulated by Honorable Prime Minister as Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat precisely means what you are saying. Dependence on other countries for either products or various phases of value chains must come down. In that, if you are depending on China, it has to urgently come down. That will be the effort of the government, that India should stand on its own feet gradually. Now tell me one thing, we manufacture the textiles for jean pants in India. Do you know we don't manufacture zips to make jean pants? Are you trying to tell me that without importing zippers from China, India cannot survive? India can produce zippers indigenously. Why are we not doing that? I'm just giving you one example. Many such things we can do. We don't have to import those products. We can improve our productivity, our production quantity, our quality to cater to Indian needs. That's what Government of India is doing. Gradually reduce dependence on imports. That is Atmanirbhar Bharat. We will continue to pursue that. But whereas the other important point you asked about boycott of Chinese products, it is a popular sentiment. People want it. Not just in India. Do you know, Pew Research Foundation has come out with a report saying that entire democratic world, there is a strong antipathy for China today. It's a very popular anti-China sentiment is growing. It is there in India also, especially after they have seen the brutality. The incident that has happened in Galwan Valley, today people have a very strong sentiment. Today, people are celebrities. I have been saying this. The new celebrities in India are our corona warriors, our doctors, our nurses, our police. They all feel that way today. If people feel that way, people have that sentiment in a democracy, all of us, whether it is Bollywood or politicians, we all must respect that sentiment.
Mr. Ram Madhav, we've also read many articles in the propaganda media of China, Global Times virtually being a Chinese government mouthpiece, which has come out and said that militarily there is a lot of difference between the capability of China and India. I just want to ask you, militarily, if we were to take any such decision in the near future, in the short term, in the medium term, do you think India can stand up to the might of China? And I'm not talking about the will. The will of the army, the will of the soldiers may be there, but are they equipped as well?
By the way, Global Times is the mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party. So let us be clear about it. When they say something, we should read it from that prism. Having said it, as far as India is concerned, our priority right now is twofold. Number one, to ensure that the incidents that have happened along the Indo-Tibetan border, the LAC, do not recur. Towards that end, we are actively engaged in dialogue at the diplomatic level and also at the military level with the Chinese side. At the same time, we are fully committed to protecting our territory, every inch of it. Towards that end also, whatever preparation is needed, for that also we are ready. No talk of war and all now.
It's just how prepared a country is. But having said that, let me also ask you another question, and it's a political question that has been making the rounds in public discourse recently, which is that there have been questions raised about Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi and Dr. Manmohan Singh present at a signing ceremony of an MOU with the Communist Party of China, where Xi Jinping himself was there in 2008 signing that as a vice president of the Chinese Communist Party. I want to ask you, a similar agreement, people say, was signed by the RSS and people from the RSS, including some from the BJP and RSS like yourself who went and signed these agreements. So why only cite the Congress's agreement and not other agreements with other political parties?
Okay, first of all, there is no agreement between BJP and CPC, or I don't know, as far as RSS I know, I have been an RSS man right from my childhood. RSS never enters into agreements and all that. RSS work is confined to India. Their interest is about India. So this whole propaganda that BJP has entered into an MOU with CPC is utterly false. But for the benefit of the viewers, let me tell you, there has been a consistent effort from CPC's side to enter into a bilateral agreement with BJP. We have steadfastly resisted it. Whereas, at the first opportunity, Congress party deemed it prudent to enter into that agreement. Let them decide about it. I mean, personally, I don't make any comments. I know that some of my party colleagues have made certain observations. Personally, I don't say anything. But fact of the matter is, BJP does not have any MOU with CPC.
There have been a lot of, information and stories and alerts that are coming that China doesn't need conventional warfare. Cyber attacks in Australia and other parts of the world and targeting India could be the next form of warfare. Do you think we are prepared to face these kind of challenges as well?
See, war is not the subject that we should be discussing today. Having said it, since you have asked a particular question, I will only give you an academic answer. I won't get into semantics of it. I will just give you an academic answer. The nature of war has undergone a lot of change. What we call as asymmetric war is one way of fighting wars. The terrorists and all those things are used by countries. But also, new types of warfare are gradually becoming, occupying significant place in the entire scheme of war. So, countries have to be prepared. I am sure Indian defense establishment is also working in all those areas. You talked about cyber war. There are many other things. Space is becoming especially an important area. Aerospace is becoming an important area. In all these aspects, yes, I'm sure Government of India, not necessarily subject to any one country, but generally in the changed situation today, in the context of war, our system also is preparing, I'm sure.
Mr. Ram Madhav, before I let you go, I want to ask you one last question. Do you think the current standoff with China will resolve itself soon enough, or are we looking at a long drawn confrontation?
We do hope that the Chinese side will agree to complete disengagement and goes back to pre-May 5th positions. That's all that we are expecting. I am very confident that in the new scenario, new global scenario, today India's standing is different. It is not as it was a decade ago or 2 decades ago. We have a very big global standing today. In that scenario, I am sure this kind of situation that we are facing on the Indo-Tibetan border would not last very long. At least that's what we are all hoping for.
Well, on that note, we're hoping that our braves come back home soon, and we are also hoping that this country can show its might to the world and to China first and foremost. Thank you very much, Ram Madhav, for joining me on Frankly Speaking.